Good morning. I am Dhruv Batra, and I am going to talk about happiness. Happiness is something that we are all looking for. All our actions are fueled by the desire for happiness. There are a lot of things that give us happiness, and a lot of things that don't. And these things are different for everybody. Some of the people in the audience might be getting extremely bored listening to so many people, while others might be enjoying every bit of it. There are different variables in our environment which affect our happiness and our mood. It's the situation we are in. But my interest is not in the situation, but in how we got into those situations. And I believe 95% of the situations we do get in are because we chose to be in them. If this blue man is at an Italian restaurant, it is because he chose to be there. So for those of you who are getting bored here, my question is, why did you take the decision to come here? And the key word here is decision. Humans take a lot of decisions. They take a lot of decisions every moment, every minute, every day. And all these decisions are in the hope to make us happy. My theory of happiness is not about God or spirituality or destiny. It's about our actions and our decisions. To explain this theory about happiness, I'll start off chronologically. When we are born, all our actions are driven by emotion. We do what we feel like. If you want to laugh, we laugh. If you want to pull our mother's hair, we pull her hair. We have absolutely no sense of reason. We do what we feel like. And we are happy, mostly I would say. Now, happiness is an emotion. It is something that comes from the heart. No, not the blood pumping organ, but from this heart. And as happiness is an emotion, to achieve it, we need to satisfy the heart. Do what we feel like, or do what our emotions tell us to. And as we grow, we tend to form ideas of what makes us happy and what doesn't. And we focus on getting the things and getting into situations that do. But as time passes, we notice situations where we did get the initial happiness of doing what we felt like, but in the end, weren't really happy. For example, if you have to choose between playing football or finishing off our homework, playing football isn't a very good idea if the homework is due the next day and the teacher is a Sith Lord. So we make mistakes and we learn from them. At this point, the learning aspect of life comes in. I'm not saying it comes in only after we don't do our homework, but it comes in at an early point in our lives. So this learning aspect is based on two things: memory and reason. Our memory is like a hard drive. It keeps on storing each and every experience we have. And our reasoning is the logical unit, which uses this information and logically and rationally analyzes it. Daniel Gilbert, in his book Stumbling on Happiness, writes, "The human being is the only animal that thinks about the future." As human beings, we are blessed with this ability to imagine what has never happened. We use this power of predicting the future to take decisions we think that would make our future selves happy. I'll repeat that. We use this power of predicting the future to take decisions that we think will make our future selves happy. So when we make a mistake, it gets stored in our memory. The next time we face a similar decision, our rationality pulls out that piece of memory, analyzes it, and says, "Not again." We avoid repeating that mistake. And we are happy. According to cognitive psychology, humans have a negative bias in their brains, which gives a preference to negative experiences being stored in the memory. I feel this is a way to make us prevent repeating mistakes, which is again to make us happy. So every time we make a mistake or we gain knowledge about the world around us, we are able to judge what would make us happy and what would not. Our memory keeps growing and our reasoning keeps evolving. We move towards being happier. But we stop thinking of happiness as happiness in the long run. Going back to the football or homework dilemma, when we choose finishing off our homework, there are two things that can happen. Either we feel proud of ourselves for taking the correct decision, for taking the rational decision, or we feel bad about not playing football. Looking at the first case, we see an evolution of emotion. There's an element of emotion that makes us happy if we forego certain other emotion. Looking at the second case, where we felt bad, there are two different things that can happen. First, we could stick to the same decision, thinking that that is what is right for us, that is what will help us in the future. Or, the next time we face a similar dilemma, we choose playing football instead and find that we are much more happy than what we were after finishing off our homework and avoiding the scolding. Most of us experience the former. We give up our pleasures for the pleasure we think we would get in the future. I'll repeat that. We give up our pleasures for the pleasure we think we would get in the future. I'm pretty sure most of us have the experience of finishing off work instead of watching TV. We give up our pleasures for the pleasure we think we would get in the future. Our lives keep on building over principles that accommodate logic, and we keep becoming happier, but happier in the long run. We become rich, get big houses, cars, every luxury in life. The second case usually doesn't occur until some good years. We keep on being happy about the fact that we are taking rational decisions, but we forget that happiness is an emotion. Even though our emotions do evolve to accommodate logic and reason, the basic set of emotions we are born with remains unsatisfied throughout this time. So at some point in life, most of us go through a life-changing vacation or a life-changing event, after which our friends often hear from us the phrases, freeing ourselves or rediscovering ourselves. Now this life-changing event is basically an event, a situation where our reasoning fails. Reasoning can fail due to lack of memory or experience regarding the situation, or due to an excessive flow of emotion. Reasoning cannot function without data, that is memory, and it can also be overwhelmed by emotions. So what happens when our reasoning fails? We are unable to act. My flow diagram shows an error. We are unable to act. So what do we do when our reasoning fails? We do what we did back in the early years. We follow our emotion. And doing that after a long time gives us immense happiness. This freeing or rediscovering ourselves basically means that we let our emotions out, doing childish things. Going back to the beginning of my presentation, when we are born, we do what our emotions tell us to. We do what we feel like. It is this realization that our emotions were being ignored throughout the years. We do childish things. We let the emotions out. We rediscover ourselves. It is at this point when our reason and logic begin to accommodate emotion and realize the importance of emotions in life. It is when we realize what truly has the ability to make us happy, a moment of enlightenment. I believe this is the point when one gains wisdom. It is the correct mixture of knowledge, experiences, and a reasoning ability that can accommodate emotions too. The conflict between rationality and emotions comes to an end. Happiness comes to us again. And that is the story of happiness according to me. Thank you.